Hi guys, and welcome back to Bad Faith. And this episode we're going to be seeing how Magda, she's in denial that she's going to be called up in the assembly, but she obviously is. It's about her. And today we're going to see what they're going to accuse her of exactly, specifically. When I finally entered the assembly hall, I settled down into a pew, one close to the entrance and far from stage. I look around. The hall is crowded as always. It's almost exactly like it was a few days ago, but the noise of the crowd is a lot louder than normal. I shake my head gently to release the tension in my face. Yeah, the noise makes sense. Everyone's confused. That's why they're all talking so much. Uh-oh. There's a loud cough on the microphone. It squeals ringing throughout the hall, and the room goes completely silent. Everyone, your attention, please. I understand that this assembly is unusually timed, that you may be confused or nervous. However, I appreciate your attention for the time being. Thank you. Now I suppose you're all wondering why you've been called here at such short notice. As you know, assemblies are not very held often. It is rare to see one fellow follow another in such a short span of time, especially within the span of a week. Fortunately, this is a sudden and desperate matter. And so, here we are, holding a second assembly. This assembly was called because of a major breach of trust in our community. Trust that we try so hard to cultivate and hold as a value. I would like to deal with this issue promptly and publicly. If I do not do this, this issue will almost certainly worsen. People will be harmed. It could even pose a threat to the haven itself. Okay. I shifted my seat. So it's that bad? No, because why is she in denial? I see. Swept against the palm of my palms. This isn't about me. So, why am I getting nervous? This isn't about me. There are hundreds of people here in this hall. All of them could be hiding secrets that could harm the Haven. It could be any one of them. This isn't about me. Besides, this will all be over soon. In half an hour, I'll go and have breakfast. Then I'll work on my base in the RSEC like always. Maybe Maria will be there? Maybe she'll be nice again? It'll be like this assembly never happened, just like every other time. This isn't about me. It's not about me. Yeah, it's not about me. There's another cough from the microphone. Before this assembly begins, I must make something apparent to you all. I will not be handling this assembly today. No. People who brought this issue to me will be the ones in charge. I believe that our community should hold itself to the standards we have long set for ourselves. It is only fair that we demonstrate that we can make good examples and hold the people we care about, the people we want for the best for, fully and truly accountable. And so I wish to summon them to the stage. Their service to the Haven's values will be rewarded. Learn well from them. Uh-oh. With that, Lady Emerson raises her hand and addresses her invitation. She beckons to a particular slice of the audience before her. I hear the sound of footsteps on wood as three people make their way onto the stage. When I see them, my heart plummets into my stomach. There's Cersei, throwing her blonde hair condescendingly. Her face is scrunched up in disgust, eyes darting about for her target. There's Eve, flicking through a dossier of files filled with tabs and notes, adjusting her glasses as she checks her sources. And right beside her No, this can't be right. I'm just saying things. There's no way she's on stage right now. I rub my eyes, and again, and again. This isn't about me. It shouldn't be. It can't be. But the scene before me doesn't change no matter how many times I try to rub my eyes. The same girl stands right beside Eve, looking small and deeply ashamed. She looks down at her shoes. Her expression is immensely, terribly sad. I would have ran right up out of there, because I don't know why she's sitting there still. It's Grace. I can't lie to myself anymore. There's no other explanation for this. This isn't about me. There's no way it could have been about anyone else. I don't know how Cersei, Eve, and Grace found out. What exactly do they know about what I did? I'm only certain about one thing alone. I'm the center of this assembly. And this time, Grace won't be there to save me. Dear Haven, you must trust that I, and all others of this sage take no pleasure in punishing our fellow members. Well, you did to her. Regardless of who they are or the nature of their actions, punishment must always be viewed as a necessity to maintain our safety, not as a means to threaten or harm one another. Without strict consequences for their dangerous actions, they even would have fallen to the same vices of the outside world long ago. This is why the assemblies exist. With that in mind, allow me to explain what we know happened. 3 days ago, the member responsible for this breach of trust began her activities, immediately after the previous assembly held this week. The timing alone is highly suspicious. Perhaps the assembly roused her dissatisfaction with the rules we hold here, prompted her to lash out, so to speak. In her irrational desire to strike back our own community, our perpetrator traveled outside, beyond the permitted boundary. If she had only stepped out briefly, the assembly would have never been held, but she kept on walking. Her journey was so long that it was unlikely to be accidental. No, everyone, it was an intentional breach of the Haven's boundaries. To further add insult to injury, our perpetrator trespassed into a forbidden zone, one that only the sect heads and Lady Amorous can enter. There, our perpetrator committed an act so taboo that it would have put the entire Haven in danger. That is, if we hadn't intervened. And yet the most terrifying act our perpetrator committed was returning a day later, traveling outside, trespassing forbidden zones, committing taboos once again. If she had done it once, we would have forgiven her after a severe punishment, but our perpetrator's repeated actions have made something abundantly clear. She does not truly love our community. Within her heart, she holds hatred for the Haven. Hatred? Hatred? For the Haven? No. What? I don't hate the Haven at all. Why the hell would she think that? Without thinking, I stand up. I mean, might as well. Everyone else stares at me from their pews. I mean, they're gonna announce that it's her, so you might as well. No, Eve. I'd never hate the Haven like that. Never. Fists tense and teeth grit, I squeeze past the other people seated in my pew, keeping my eyes on the stage. I mean, she's really brave, honestly. I applaud her for that. I march my way up to the aisle, right in front of Eve. From the audience, the entire Haven stares back at me in dead silence. The soundless air is punctuated by a few whispers. I don't care. I don't care what they have to say about me. Most of them never liked me to begin with. Even so, my thoughts are my own. I'm tired of Eve assuming things about me. Even if I am the culprit, why should I sit and let myself take this crap? Eve, I've always loved living here. I was born and raised in the Haven. This is and will always be my home. I love being here. I love making things. I love taking in the endless beauty of our forest. I love the community here, even if most of you don't feel the same way about me. Regardless of whether you like me or not, I wouldn't trade this place for anything. So don't you dare say that about me again. Ever. Eve stares at me. Her eyes are wide. She clearly hadn't expected me to shout at her. But then Eve relaxes into a small smile. Her gaze now narrowed in incisive, determined focus, like everything she wanted had fallen into place. And that's when I know I'm done for. You were. I see. First of all, thank you, Magda. I thought I'd have to drag you onto the stage like my previous culprits, but you did the work for me. Thank you. Everyone, Magda did something in the service of the Haven for once. Let's give her a hand, shall we? The whole audience burst into sarcastic applause. They sensed a bloodbath incoming. I tried to ignore it. All right. That's enough. Eve waves a hand to quiet everyone looking onward. Forgive my sudden excitement. Now, Magda, you spoke passionately. Some of the more weak-minded members of our audience, you might even convince them that you were a good person. But you know what I think? Every word out of your mouth is a poisonous lie. If you truly felt fortunate to be a member of the Haven, you should have known that the boundaries outside are for our safety. You knew you were trespassing them. So tell me, why had you entered that forbidden zone twice? No need to answer me. I already know. You knew what you were doing, Magda. You just didn't care about your community. Ugh, damn it. I knew she put pins into my outburst as soon as she heard it. I guess I should have expected that. You won't let her talk. But you know, Magda, your little adventures aren't the only reason you're here today. I'm sure everyone's curious about the other thing you did to hurt your own community. Something someone who felt fortunate to be here would have never dreamed of doing. So, if you really love the Haven, Magda, why would you pick up the pen again? Let alone write things that could have hurt us all. I mean, you can't really write. The audience begins to whisper frantically. What? What's she talking about? We've never made it work like that. Unless... Ahem. I suppose now is a good time to pass the baton to our second investigator. Cersei, if you'd like to come out with the other piece of evidence. Eve gestures to Cersei, who stands further back on the stage. Cersei nods and steps forward. There's something in her hands. I can't see what. As she makes her way towards me, she flashes a wicked smirk. My stomach drops. Within the next few minutes, I know I'll be humiliated in front of the entire Haven. By this point, the audience's whispers have turned into loud conversations once more. They hum with excitement, fear, and anger. Alright, everyone. I know you're all excited about what's coming next. Believe me, I feel the same way. But please, all eyes on me. The audience quiets down, and hundreds of gazes focus on Cersei. Good, good. Now that I have your attention, want to see what the liability got up to in private while we weren't looking? Huh? The audience gives a loud, raucous roar of enthusiasm. It's like a hanging. It feels like a hanging. A few whoops and cheers pierce the air. Allow me to show you the ultimate proof that this girl's a threat. In one swift gesture, Cersei whips out something from behind her back. With a look of triumph, she dangles it above the ground for all to see. That something is... It's... Oh. Oh god, it's your diary. How the hell did y'all get their hands on my diary? That's personal. They can't... No. I don't like looking through other people's stuff at the best of times, but man oh man, this was a special exception. Take a good look, everyone. See for yourself how freaking disgusting she is. With that, Cersei flings my diary into the crowd. Well, that's just messed up. The audience goes into an uproar. A girl catches a book mid-flight and yanks it down to the earth. The other girls swarm around her like horseflies of flesh, while she begins to turn the pages. They want to see what's inside. They want to know the simple things I've written and drawn. They want to gawk at my innermost thoughts and parade them around the island. How ironic that these dangerous things were now okay to look at. But in the name of justice for the Haven, I guess anything went. Even if seeing, reading, or learning about the things I wrote normally warranted harsh punishment, I have to pry it out of their hands. I have to run up and get in the middle of that crowd and take it back. I have to. I rush forward. Cersei jerks me back, putting me in a headlock. I struggle. I kick against her. I punch her. I have to get out. I need to get out. Please get me out. But Cersei's grip is a powerful vice. She sneers and wrenches the side of my head upwards, putting her face against it. I can feel her hot breath against my skin. Not so fast, pervert. I saw everything. What you wrote, what you drew. You really think you're untouchable, don't you? That you get away with what you said about me and Eve. That you can reduce poor sweet Maria to your gross fantasy. You can't just let someone like you do whatever the hell you want. Me and Eve, we took the time out of our busy schedules to help you, to get you back to normal again. All those punishments, those conversations, those encounters, all gone to waste on you. A disgusting, degenerate freak. I want her to shut up. I want her to loosen her death grip, latched tight onto my neck. I want her to stop squeezing my throat shut with her oafish hands. But I can't. I can't even fight to breathe properly, because I'm listening to the crowd. Because I can't stop hearing what everyone else is saying about me. Yikes. I didn't know she wrote that gross shit about Maria. Maria, of all people. How dare she make girls like us look bad pursuing her forbidden desires were ahead? How dare she? I was right not to associate with her back when she was in the writing sack. I never liked what she put out. She just said Cersei's more successful than her now. That's why she's taking it out on everyone else. How do I know curse words? I thought they were a pure mind. She stopped guilt-tripping us. There's a reason you've had it hard since the last assembly. God, look at this freaking mess of a Rand over here. She wants to be the victim so badly. We get it, you're a harmful weirdo who can make us insane. But it's totally our fault that we don't want to be seen around you, sure. I knew that most people gave me a weird birth. That nobody wanted to be around me anymore. But hearing it in the open, hearing everyone say such things about me out loud, I don't know. I don't know what's real anymore. My mind feel like it's peeling from my body. I want to float away from here at least. Order, order, silence at once. This assembly is concluded. Are we in agreement? Indeed. Yep, all the evidence is here. Cersei lets me go and heads over to Lady Amorous. I collapse on the floor in a heap. I gasp. Slowly I sit up and rub my aching, crushed neck. And Grace, you haven't said a word this entire assembly. Would you like to share anything else? You were a great help in bringing this all to light. Grace looks up from the floor. Her expression is completely unreadable. I can't tell what she's thinking of me now. Lady Amorous, if you let me speak for Grace, she's still not comfortable talking about this. Grace discovered Magda's diary. When called to take a stand for the Haven, she rose to the occasion. Her vital contribution helped us build our case. To let our assembly speak for itself. I go cold. I knew Grace wouldn't be there to protect me. Deep down, I knew that as soon as I saw her standing to try me. But hearing it confirmed in Eve's very own voice, words, then there really is nothing left for me on this island. Are you gonna run out, or are you just gonna... I see. Very well. In that case, hereby declare that Magda is no longer a member of the Haven. She has taken advantage of our community's generosity. She has sought to poison us and make us insane. And though she was nearly made us change our ways, she proved that the insane will always stay insane. Now she will be cast outside the Haven so that she no longer poses a harm to our community. I can't take this anymore. I need to get out of here. I need to leave. Now I can't be taken away. I won't. I have to go. I have to go. I have to go. I have to go. I stand up. I dash for the exit. Oh, they won't let her leave. She should have never went up there as soon as they saw her. But as I rush forward, a wall of uniformed girls and women all block my path. I'm caught again. The audience surrounds me, full of punishing intent. Countless hands reach out and push me down, forcing me to the ground. They pin me as I punch and kick and scream and struggle against the crushing weight. Feet kicked at my body, hands swat and slap and punch. Voices screaming, yell, and curse. I have to try to escape, even if the odds are slim, even if the odds of winning are near to none. I have to leave. I have to go. But eventually my body gives in to their abuse. Helplessly I lay still on the floor, waiting for the inevitable to draw near. Footsteps grow louder and louder. The crowded parts. Cersei and Eve and Grace all come down to gaze at me. Cersei with disgust, Eve with clinical reproach, Grace with muted sadness. Lady Amorous is also there, cold as ever. Eve bends down. A little dart is in her hand, just like the one that was used on JL. There's no pipe to fire it. It's just wielded on its own like a pen or a needle. With one swift motion, she stabs it into my neck. My body starts. I try to struggle again. Try to lift myself off the floor despite my new aches and bruises. The chemicals seep into my blood, my heart, my brain. Everything starts to go black. Slowly, everyone leaves. The crowd draws back. Eve walks away. Seriously leaves me a good kick and some spit as a parting gift. Grace is the last to remain. She continues to stand over me. I can feel the sadness oozing out of her pitiful expression. I want her to just go. Before the darkness swallows me, the last thing I see are her lips. Her rounding out two little words will be my final memory as a member of the Haven. I'm sorry. I fall unconscious. I wonder what they do with him. Now I'm just interested to know. No one has ever talked about those who were taken away. One quiet evening I asked Maria about what happened to them. It wasn't a smart question, but I was bothered that I didn't know about where I would have gone. Maria clammed up. She clearly knew the answer to my question, but she wouldn't utter a word about it. After a long, agonizing silence, she laughed nervously. What happens to them doesn't matter. Now I understand what Maria meant, why she withdrew into herself when JL was taken away. This is what happened to JL. This is what should have happened to me a year ago. This is what happened to me now. Oh? I'm in a cell. I don't know where I am on the island anymore. The room is old and poorly maintained, but stable enough not to collapse in on its prisoner. That's enough to house those rejected by the Haven. In my mind, this is Hell's waiting room. I'm not dead. I'm not in hell yet. But when I go, I'll be no different from there. Here it's dark. There's almost no light except for the candles glowing in the hallway in front of me and a small sliver of sunshine from a window above my cell. I don't know what I look like anymore. There aren't any mirrors in here. To stay warm, I have to huddle into myself. It's cold and hard everywhere else in the room. It's not like I have anywhere to go, anyways. I'm chained to a wall. All I'm wearing is the thinnest underlayer of my uniform, a white cloth slip. My dress, my socks, my shoes, even my own ribbons, all snatched away, for repurposing, I was told. But I had never once seen a uniform's material get reused. It had likely been burnt instead. In one of the walls next to me, there's a small metal slot. Through that slot comes the only food I get. I have to crawl to stretch out to struggle to humiliate myself, so that I can touch the plate that slides through once per day. All this for a crust of stale bread and cups of musty water. As is, the conditions are barely enough to keep me alive. Well, that's probably the point. The haven only nurtures those who obey it. When there's nothing to eat, there's nothing to do. Prayer has long given way to anxiety. Anxiety has long given way to boredom. And boredom has long given way to hazy dissociation. A tired nothingness, a bare minimum existence. All I do is stare, and I stare, till my mind melts, till my eyelids grow heavy, till I sink into a deep, long sleep. But I don't dream of anything. I can't dream of anything. I'm too tired to dream of anything anymore. All that awaits me is the same maddening emptiness that sits with me when I'm awake. A silent void. At this point, even a violent nightmare would be a blessing. Not even Niels reaches out to me anymore. No more visions of their past life. No more bouts of anger or desire. No more message sent to me in any shape or form. But I wonder if they finally, if or when it happened, were they alone? I don't know. Why would I know? I never kept my promise. I have no right to know. When I first woke up, the sect heads and Lady Amherst stood outside my door. Of course, Lady Amherst didn't want anything to do with me. I was no longer a member of the Haven. To her, I was no longer a person, sitting here slumped on the cool floor like trash tipped all over. She had more important things to do, and as quickly as she came, she went back to her quarters. 3 sect heads were assigned to me in her stead, to monitor me. Those heads were the very people who accused me. These visits were boasting sessions to an audience who could never turn away. When I heard her at the door, I knew I'd shortly face a smug grin and a laundry list of accomplishments and righteous deeds. He was already a sect head, but the increased prestige that she was awarded with for uncovering my misdeeds was a colossal stroke to her ego. The research sect has gained more attention and resources, and her project became highly elaborate. After long being overshadowed by the art and writing sects, the research sect has finally recognized for its importance to the Haven Society. Her wrote the daily praise she received in my face, the glowing remarks from younger girls who wanted to be like her, the popularity of her written work and projects and their influence on culture and affairs, the successful proposals she wrote for newer, stricter rules within the Haven. The raving whispers that Lady Amherst herself wanted to make Eve the successor to her cause. That would be the worst thing. And before me was likely the future leader of the Haven. All thanks to me and my little mess-ups. Congratulations, Eve. You made it. Be proud of yourself. Cersei was promoted to the head of the writing sect. I wanted to forget as soon as she let me know. But Cersei made it impossible. All hers were the pristine white veil and dress, as well as her boast about her newfound power. Every glow of hers was punctuated with kicks to the gut and deep, cutting insults. Cersei loved making me suffer. If my food dish were there, she'd kick it out of the way too far for me to reach. I quickly learned to lick my plate clean as soon as food came. She'd read segments from her books and have me recite them. Less than exact repetitions earned me a slap to the face. Sometimes she'd hurt me for mistakes that didn't even happen. Once Cersei brought scissors from the art sect. She pinned me into a socket-still submission and held my blades to my head, collapsed around some strands. The blades came down. Hair fell. She kept on cutting. She cut and cut and cut until all my hair had been shorn off. This girl is a psychopath. No one can convince me otherwise. She left that day, clutching bunches of my locks tightly in her fist. I don't know what she did with them. I don't want to find out. Here in this little dark place, Cersei could finally be better than me. Mentally, physically, creatively, and of course she was right. After all, I got kicked out of the Haven, not her. Oh! Then there was Grace. Because Grace prioritized the Haven's safety over mine, she was well rewarded. For sacrificing me, she was made the new head of the architectural sect. Apparently, the old head sat down willingly. She didn't like her job in the source of maintaining the Haven, take it out on the members beneath her. Hence, Grace and many others like her faced long, exhausting hours of work. I learned what Grace had done from the conversation of other heads who walked past my cell. She made the architectural sect's hours fairer. Members were no longer required to stay up late for their projects. They could go to dinner at the same time as everyone else, participate in other events, and socialize with their friends. Because of Grace's performance to the architectural sect, she quickly became one of the most beloved heads within the Haven. Many even began to call her the Second Maria. On top of that, Grace now has many friends who loved her. Now that I wasn't keeping them at bay. Of the three heads, Grace visited me the least, but her visits were always the most devastating for me. Whenever she came, Grace simply stared at me through the bars of my cell door. Clothed in the white dress and veil of her new power, her face always crystallized in a tragic expression. Her eyes shone like polished glass, her eyebrows quirked up, and her lips pursed, like she was on the verge of tears. I knew she wished that things had been different. If only you had restrained your emotions, had suppressed your curiosity, had destroyed that diary, we could have still been friends, Magda. Her face said all these things, each and every time. She hurt me the most. I was used to Eve's condescension. I anticipated Cersei's violence, but I couldn't stand Grace's pity. She hurt me the most. She betrayed me, took my diary and showed it, exposed me for who I was and what I was doing. But I betrayed her too by saying myself. I wanted her to punish me. I wanted her to walk up to me and scream so close to my face that my eardrums would ring. To boast to me loudly, to tell me how much better her life was since she threw me away. I wanted her to tear out the tufts of the hair that remained on my head until my scalp bled from the force. I wanted her delicate hands to choke me until my face turned blue. But of course, Grace would never do any of those things. She couldn't. Grace was a nice girl who sat and stared sadly until her eyes bore into my soul. Of all the heads, I hated her the most. I can't remember when I was first brought here to this place, a place no one knows, a place no one remembers. Time passes in 1,000 different ways here. The days go by in a matter of seconds. The seconds go by over what feels like days. As it exists now, my life is a murky haze. I guess I'm used to it by this point. The more I'm here, the less this all bothers me. Not that I have much left to be bothered about anyways. Well, there's one exception. In the Haven, no one talked about those who were taken away. Speaking about them was discouraged. Those who were removed had to be forgotten. Of course, this was easier said than done. When a friend or a lover was lost, people wept and yelled in secret. When strong teams of creatives, architects, or researchers fell apart when a key member was taken away. Grief was groundwater running deep beneath the Haven. Just like JL, who had been lost, and Maria, who had been left behind. Losing JL had affected Maria deeply. She became distant and sad, all while carrying out the duties of a head, all while pretending her best friend never existed. I keep on thinking about this. It must have been tough for her. No, I know it was. I wonder what Maria is doing right now. Is she still guiding everyone back in the R sect? I wonder how their projects are coming along. I hope she's still working on her own art too. She stopped a while back to help the members of the R sect with their projects. But I hope she'll soon be able to make her own project again. At least I know she'll always be bringing beauty to the Haven, even if I'm no longer there to appreciate it. I hope she doesn't forget me, even though she never understood my world. Even though she was harsh to me the last time we talked. I hope she knows that, in the end, I never minded, that I'll always care about her. I hope she's kept my sketches somewhere safe. That somehow she's preserved them. That... Ugh, I might as well say it. I love Maria. Out loud, I muttered 3 words she'll never be around to hear. I'll never paint with her again. I'll never see her again. I'll never be with her again. Are they all older than them? It's kind of weird. My throat clenches. I whimper. I'm scared that she'll forget me. Marching footsteps draw towards my cell. Someone heard me cry out. Whoever they are, at least they'll be a distraction from this terrible twisting feeling in my gut. I rub my eyes. From the floor I look up in face. Cersei? Ugh. What are you waiting for? Do I have to find out for myself? Her key rattles against the gate of my cell. Great. Here comes another round of punishment, Cersei style. If she could somehow get the upper hand on her. That girl is strong. And she's tall too. The gate finally creaks. Cersei shoves it open and steps inside. She kneels in front of me, trying to look at me eye to eye. Force myself to give her eye contact. If I don't, she'll grab my face. Force me to stare at her. Come on, spit it out. What is up with you? I say nothing. I'm too tired for this crap, as distracting as it was. Hey you. Cersei shakes me. My head lolls back and forth. Are you listening to me or what? If you don't spill within the next 3 seconds, I'll beat the shit out of you. She pulls back her fist, spreading a blow to the head. I don't want to tell her. She doesn't deserve to know. 1. If I tell her, she'll rub it in my face. Call me names. Hurt me some more. 2. I'll be fighting a losing battle. There's no point in hiding, no matter how much I want to right now. Because she already knows. She's probed my mind thousands of times. She's read my diary. She knows exactly what matters to me. And 3. Maria. So, I'm not going to fight. I'm going to give her exactly what she wants. Maria, huh? You can't be serious. You still got a thing for her? After all this? After all you've been through? Just get on with it. Oh man. Oh man. You'll never change, huh? I can smack your face until you turn black and blue. I can rip out your hair. I can feed you cafeteria scraps until you puke on the floor. I could do everything in my power to correct you and your disgusting brain. But damn, you really are rotten to the core. Then again, I shouldn't expect much from a freak like you. Yeah, I'm disgusting, rotten, freak. Anything new you'd like to tell me? But you seem pretty down today. I feel kinda bad, so I'll tell you what. I'll be generous this time. How about a little update on how Maria's doing, huh? Ha, your eyes just lit up. I knew you'd like that. So Magda, listen hard and listen close, because I'm only gonna tell you this story once. Yesterday evening I went by the R6 building. Pretty typical evening, really. I just finished managing everyone in the writing stack. Everything was ticking along nicely, and I just put a pin in my latest and greatest piece. Though I'd love to tell you about the writing stack actually. Under my tender care, so many young writers are blossoming right now. They all got more talent in their pinkies than you got in your entire body. I don't care. Get on with it. Oh, forgive me for making you grouchy. I just thought you'd be interested in what your old sec was doing. Guess I should get straight to the point then. Anyways, I saw Maria right outside the RSEC building. She was struggling to carry some huge black bag. Naturally, I had to ask my fellow sect head all about it. She told me that she was going to get rid of the garbage laying around the studio. Of course, I had to see what was inside. Not that I don't trust Maria, but gotta see if anything dangerous is there. Safety first and all. It's a thing between us sect heads. Not that you know or anything. And believe it or not, she was more than happy to show me. And she put the bag down and let me take a look through. When I opened it, I found a whole bunch of sketches, crumpled, stained, and ripped ones. Ones that had all sorts of colorful birds, beautiful flowers, and elegant trees on them. They're adorable. It's a real shame they're going in the garbage. Don't give me that look, Cersei. Please, please tell me you're joking. Maria let me have a good long look at everything she was throwing away, in case anything caught my eye. Now, when I was sifting through the trash, I found one super cute sketch. I wanted it so bad. So I asked Maria if it was okay to have, and I believe it or not, she let me keep it. So now I've got a nice little gift for my favorite liability. A souvenir from your old home, if you will. Here, catch. Cersei tosses a crumpled ball of paper at me. Without thinking twice, I opened it on my lap. It's the sketch I did for my painting. The painstakingly penciled little birds have smudged against the tiny folds of paper. All that remains are small, shapeless blurs of graphite. Do you like it? I saw it and thought of you. I feel my stomach twist. No, Cersei just wants a reaction out of me. Maria would never do that. She wouldn't, but my eyes are still stinging. My throat's still gumming up. Her lips are still trembling. Why? Were you crying? So you didn't like it? Well, that's okay. It happens. Here, let me make you feel better. In one swift move, Cersei snatches my sketch away from my lap. Now this will make you cry ever again. She brings the paper to my eye level, letting the drawing obscure her face. And then, she tears it down to center. Cersei grips my drawing again, quartering it. Strips it again, dividing it into eighths. And again, and again, and again, and again, and again. All I could do was stare as she rips the hours of work. Days of planning, ages of thought and inspiration, all into crude confetti. As she does, I remember something from long ago. Once Cersei snuck into the art sec and stole my colored pencils. It was a few weeks after my first assembly. I hadn't been punished like she wanted, and she was furious. Because of that, she took it upon herself to punish me as she saw fit. This would be the first of many of her delayed punishments. And the day after she stole the pencils, I learned that they went missing. I searched for them frantically, in my niche, in my studio, under my work desk, everywhere, but they were nowhere to be seen. That evening she approached me, smirking. I figured she was responsible. The smug look on her face gave it away. By pretending to act ignorant and asked if she knew where they were, Cersei said she didn't know, and that she'd never have seen the pencils before. And through it all, she couldn't stop giggling to herself, all snorting and chuckling like an idiot at her own bad joke, all while avoiding the eye contact she loved forcing me to give so much. I learned that Cersei was a terrible liar. Since then, I caught her fibbing again and again and again. I learned to be good at reading Cersei, but right now, she hasn't laughed once. She gives me eye contact the entire time. So, yeah, and I'm done. It's all gone now. Now you'll be happy again, won't you? Cersei leans forward to pat my head mockingly. She sits back, adjusts her skirts, and stares. Her face is blank. Her eyes bore right into me. Freaks like you deserve to rot here. Keeping you in the haven would have been dangerous for everyone. That's why I'm glad. Glad that sops like Maria learned to forget you. Cersei stands up again. She wipes her pristine sect head uniform, letting out a puff of dust falls to the cell floor. Ugh, prison dirt. Freaking gross. I was kind of worried, hoping that Magda would get a burst of adrenaline and beat her, but oh well, she's still really weak. Without another word, she leaves and locks the cell door behind her. Please, if anyone can hear me, kill me. Do it now. Curl up into a tiny ball. I don't have the energy to cry anymore. I don't have the energy to do anything anymore. I'm going to be here, alone, forever. Slowly my breathing becomes shallow. My body grows heavy. My surroundings go dark. I don't want to wake up again. Okay, so I'm going to end the episode right here today. I don't know. Is there any hope for her? I thought she was gonna, escape somehow, but they're all sent to a prison and just left there. Of course, it can't be sent to the outside, because if there really is an outside, like they said, they could just be traced back to that island that they're at. Somehow, eventually, word gets out. So, they're, of course, kept prisoner and whatnot. I really just feel bad for her, because her thoughts that she wrote are just normal. Just normal, like what everyone would write as, when they're developing feelings for someone. To some degree, and all of her emotions were bottled up, so a lot of them came out as very violent, but there wasn't anything wrong with it or anything. But yeah, thank you guys so much for watching this episode. I'll see you in the next one. Bye.